Hi, I'm Emily Poirier, and I was wondering if you've ever wanted to buy an animal but you cannot afford one. Well, I'm here to tell you that you can adopt one from a local shelter. By doing this, you not only get a pet that fits your personality and your needs, but you also get to save a life. In this presentation, I will be going over the top reasons that you should adopt. So below this video will be an attachment with the presentation that I have that you can either follow along to or you can just watch this video. And so, top reasons that you should adopt a pet. So, the number one that I believe in, and the one that I've already mentioned, is that you'll save life. Each year, 1.5 million adoptable animals are euthanized. So, this happens because too many pets go into the shelter and too little go out. By adopting from a shelter, you can also help limit the spread of disease. So wild dogs can spread the diseases to squirrels and just other wild animals, which can make them go extinct. So approximately 6.5 million animals enter U.S. animal shelters every year. Out of these animals, roughly 3.3 million are dogs and 3.2 million are cats. There was a decline from approximately 7.2 billion in 2011 to today. So the number of dogs and cats euthanized in U.S. shelters annually has declined from roughly 2.6 million in 2011. And so more people are adopting, but not enough that the numbers are going down to what we would like to see. Around 3.2 million shelter animals are adopted every year, and so that's super great. So like I said, about 3.2 million shelter animals are being adopted every year, and that went up from 2.7 million, so that means we are increasing every year. So that means an additional million cats and dogs are being adopted out of shelters annually. So shelter euthanasia has correspondingly gone down too, since there's been more adoptions. In 2011, 2.7 million animals per year were losing their lives. Today, that number is 1.5 million, which means that an additional 1.2 million animals a year are being saved. My second point is you'll get a great animal. Like I said, that you can find one with a personality that really fits you. You might not know, but most shelter pets wound up there because of a human problem, not because they were bad pets or anything like that. Many animals that are in shelters are already house trained, and so that's a lot easier to just bring in a pet that's already house trained and has already been in a house setting instead of bringing in a puppy who might be scared to new locations. You can also usually get any breed of dog you want, so there's a ton of specific rescues that have just certain dogs, and so if you're looking for one, just kind of search around and see if you can find one near you that has a pet or something that's more unique to you. The dogs also typically come with their shots, or the shelter will be doing it for a minimum fee, a lot less than a vet would do. So like I said before, since you are most likely getting an adult dog or somewhat of a older puppy, they will be easier to house train because many adult shelter dogs have already been housebroken by their past owners, and so if they are house trained, it's not going to be as difficult, like I said. But if you get a puppy, it's kind of harder to teach them all the things that, like no chewing, no peeing in the house, whereas an adult dog would kind of already know that. Also, another benefit of getting an adult dog is that their personalities are kind of stuck now. So their personality isn't really going to change in the years that you own it, and so you can kind of choose one that would best fit your personality instead of a puppy who kind of will change personalities throughout the years. I found that a lot of adoption centers do have matching programs that try and match a dog that fits your needs, your personality, and just kind of your activity level and stuff. And so they might already have experience in homes already, and so it will make it an easier transition when they just go right into your home. If you are following along with the presentation, you will now come to a slide with Find Your Ideal Pet. So that comes from the website pawslikeme.com. So I challenge you to take that quiz and just kind of see what kind of animal would be the best fit for you. I did, and it was really easy. It only took about 2 to 5 minutes. It's a great website. It's easy questions, kind of just asking what's your activity level, what kind of dog you would like, if you'd like a dog that kind of exercises more or likes to snuggle on the couch, one that's more open to humans, or one that's kind of just shy. I got my results back right away, and you kind of just have to match dogs with that, and then you can adopt one that matches you. For my third point, pets are good for your health. And so having an animal in the home is shown to be psychological, emotionally, and physically beneficial to the companions. And so caring for a pet can provide a sense of purpose and fulfillment and lessen feelings of loneliness. And so if you kind of live alone or something, a pet would be a very good addition to your home, just so you feel like you have a responsibility, or maybe you don't feel as lonely. Dog owner scores are significantly lower for psychosomatic symptoms and stress, and were higher for general health. Vitality, emotional role, absence of bodily pain, social functioning, and mental health is all a part of that. And so if you do have an animal at home, you kind of already know that if you come home and you had a stressful day at work or something, just having your pet there with you, knowing that you have to go home to take care of something and that you're like their whole entire world, is kind of nice, just to know that you mean something very important to something. By also adopting from animal shelter instead of buying one, you will be fighting puppy mills. And so that is my fourth point. And puppy mills are not very ethical or anything, and so they're very, very awful, and they are cruel environments that the dogs have to live in, and it's just not okay. So by making sure that you adopt, you can help stop cruelty in mass breeding facilities like the puppy mills. So throughout the country, thousands of commercial pet breeding facilities produce millions of animals per year, and they sell it in stores and through newspaper ads. These facilities repeatedly impregnate female dogs and spend their entire lives in cages without human companionship. And so already the dogs are lacking what they would have had if you just adopted, right? So these unfortunate animals are often in awful environments, like I said, forced to produce litter upon litter, and are destroyed after they become unprofitable to the company. And so by adopting these animals, you kind of are saying no to the puppy mills and just trying to lower the cruel environments that these dogs are in, because they really don't deserve it. And if you can just adopt and save just one or two puppies from going into the puppy mills, then you're doing something. If you don't believe me that shelter dogs are so just like happy when they get adopted and that they just love the person, whoever it is adopts them, there's a video on the slide that you should, if you are following along in the presentation, that you can watch, and you just see the difference between a shelter dog and then someone who's going home. And so that video concludes my presentation. And so I kind of just have to say that if you are wanting to invest in a dog, I would say invest in one just from the adoption agency instead of going out and buying one. Buying one sometimes is like $400, $500, and so that's a lot of money for just a dog, when you could just go to a local shelter and adopt one that is really in need of a home. And these dogs have so much beneficial just to your life. They kind of are already house trained. A lot of them have already been around kids if you have kids. So instead of bringing a puppy that you're not really sure how will react to their new environment, you can always just go and get a puppy from the shelter. Make sure that your kids like it, make sure that you like it, make sure that it's friendly towards other dogs. It's kind of just easier. Instead of finding a puppy that could change within the years, you kind of get a puppy who's kind of already been there, and he has like his own personality, and he won't really screw anything up because he's not gonna mess with anything. Whereas like a puppy might not be house trained, so you have to house train them. You might pee on the floor, he's gonna go through that chewing stage, whereas an adult dog probably won't. So my very final note is that if you are wanting to get a puppy, I would suggest adoption agencies. They're great, and even if you don't want to adopt a dog right now, you can still go to the adoption agencies. I know a lot of them have just like walking programs where you can walk the dogs, even feed the dogs, feed the cats, make sure that they're just being within a human companionship. And so I just wanted to say thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope you really get an insight of kind of the adoption versus buying.